Hello everyone, I am Neha Kazi from Leelavati Lalji Dayal High School and College of Commerce. In our political science lesson today, we are going to talk about chapter 1, Working of the Constitution. So in this lesson, we will quickly see the summary of the chapter. Let's begin. So let us first see what the Indian Constitution is. So it came into force on 26th January 1950, and that's how we celebrate our Republic Day. Alright, so now here what is the main objective of the Indian Constitution? So it is to establish a socialist, secular, democratic republic state. Okay, so all the laws, rules and regulations of the country are written in the Constitution. Alright. So there are important provisions which are made in the constitution so that people can easily secure justice and their freedom is safeguarded. So that is why I said all the rules, regulations are written in this constitution so that people can seek justice, all right? And they have certain rights and duties also which will be safeguarded. And the next thing here is that the constitution is the key element in forming a progressive society based on social justice and equality. Why? Because everybody in the country has to follow the constitution. So you form a progressive society because there are, laws which are based on, social welfare of the people. It's about safeguarding their rights, the cultures, their religion. There is equality. Okay, so when we talk about constitution, there is equality. There is no biasness as such. So we progress as a society with the help of the constitution. Let us proceed now and talk about democracy. Okay, so democracy is for the people, of the people and by the people, right? So first let's talk about political maturity. So democracy is an integral part of social life. Okay, it is very important. Integral means important part, right? People have a direct representation in the parliament, state legislature and local government. That is how we vote for our representatives. They are people amongst us, right? And then they contest elections and we vote for them. So there is direct participation of people. There is direct representation of people. Okay. Then there is free and fair elections in India, right? So every time when there are elections, it is free. You don't pay for it, correct? Plus fair, which means no malpractices are to be done. Okay. So because you want to maintain democracy, you will need free and fair elections. All right. So citizens actually go and cast their vote. Okay. They will see who is the representative, what work they are doing, what policies they have made, how are they solving people's issues. All right. So all these things will be considered and then accordingly people will go and vote. All right. So the more the people participate in a democracy, the better it becomes. All right. Let's move ahead and talk about right to vote. Okay. So the system of voting in India is based on adult suffrage, which means the legal right which is given to an adult for voting. So here it is basically 18 years. Earlier it was 21 years, but now it has been bring down to 18 years. Okay. So the voting is given to men and women equally. The right to vote is there with the men and women. It's not that only men will go and vote. Women also have the right to vote. All right. So the age limit, like I told you, that it was lowered down from 21 to 18. So what happened here is that youth also got a representation. They also got an opportunity to become a part of the entire political process. All right. So here, of course, the scope of democracy also increased because now the youth is also involved. So what happens is India became the largest democracy in the world because right from you turn 18, you have to start voting. All right. So in this manner, India is the largest democracy in the world. All right. So yes, qualitative wise and also quantity wise, India changed, correct? Because now the youth is participating. There are more number of voters who are there, right? So it has changed. Correct. So the political parties emerge with active support with the new generation, with the young voters, representing different expectations of the people, and also leading to competition in political spheres. So whatever the people want, young people actually bring out that representation. Correct. So in this manner, it became much better when the voting rights came down to 18 from 21. All right. So that was right to vote. Let's see the next one now. We have decentralization of democracy. Now, decentralization means we have different layers, all right, where the power has been allotted in that manner. So, decentralization here, when they are talking about, is basically between the center, state, and local self governing bodies. So, this is called the decentralization of power, which means it's not that we are dependent on just one. Okay, we have on our state level also, below that also we have on a district level as well, right? The local self-governing bodies are there. So now in decentralization of democracy, there are also provisions wherein we are talking about the directive principles of the state policy. Then it also helps in curbing any kind of misuse of power. It also allows people's participation on a maximum level. All right. Then there are guidance which is also given in terms of giving more powers to the local self-governing bodies. All right, and this is all there in the constitution, right? So it really becomes better for the functioning of the democracy, smooth functioning of the democracy. All right, then we have the 73rd and the 74th amendment in the constitution, which is actually giving recognition to the local self-governing bodies. Not just that, but it also gave them more powers. Okay, so here basically, because India is a huge country and we know we are the largest democracy, so decentralization of power actually works very well for us, right? Because we have the center which is looking after specific things, we have state government which is looking after the entire state, and we have the local self governing bodies also which are working at the local level. So there is smooth functioning of democracy because of decentralization. All right, let's continue and see the next point here in democracy, which is right to informations. That's RTI. All right, and it had come into act in 2005. All right, so it is important. It gives powers to the citizens. Why? Because we as common people have the right to get the information about whatever we want to. There are certain places wherein we will not get the information. That is, if it is about national security, so you cannot file an RTI and get to know about it because that is a major concern, right? But anything otherwise, how your government is functioning, what are they doing, what their plans and policies are. So various other things which a citizen must be aware of. All right. So citizen actually gets opportunities to interact with the government. Plus there is transparency in the administration, because then even the government feels that okay, tomorrow somebody is going to question me from right to information about what I am doing. So it makes the government more responsible. Okay, so Indian citizens actually have the power to question their government. All right, plus there is peace and harmony between the government and the people also. They'll work hand in hand. Citizens become more vigilant, by the way. All right, then it will reduce any kind of secrecy, because the functioning of the government becomes more transparent with the help of right to information. All right, so that is why it is pretty important. And after the year 2000, the citizens have got right to information. Not just that, but even right to education, that's RTE, and right to food security. All right, let's take up the next point now, which is social justice and equality. Okay, so our democracy, our constitution actually treats everyone equally, and we talk about giving social justice to everyone. So yes, a new progressive society based on values of social justice and equality are the main set of objectives by the Constitution of India. Okay, so the government as well as people should actually fulfill this objective of having social justice and equality. All right, So now when we are saying that there has to be social justice, what does it mean? It means we have to remove any kind of injustice from our society. Okay. It also means that we give equal status to everyone. So when we are talking about the law and order, everybody is equal irrespective of their class, caste, gender, race, religion, language, place. There has to be no discrimination on these basis. Everybody is equal in the eye of law. All right. So equal opportunity should be given to everyone to achieve development. All right. That's what your social justice is all about. Okay. Let's proceed further. So here there has to be, efforts needs to be put in to reduce inequality. When we are saying that a constitution works on the principles of, equality, then definitely we should have certain measures which will bring down the inequality. All right. So policy of reservation of seats is one way in which we can reduce inequality. All right. So here reservation of seats is done for the section of society which has been denied the opportunity of education, employment over a long period of time. So, students in general also, like we have the SC, ST, NT, these are the backward classes which did not get opportunities for so long. And that is why the constitution has reservations for them. All right, which definitely means that these people have certain seats reserved for them. All right, in government offices also, and in educational institutions as well. Any public sector undertaking that is there, you will find reservations in it for this section of society. All right. So, like I said, that seats are reserved for the backward classes. OBC, that is other backward classes also. Not just SC, ST, NT, but even for other backward classes. Not just that, but there are seats reserved for women as well, which we will discuss further. So, let's talk about the Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe Act, which is Prevention of Atrocities Act. See, because people did not treat them like humans. This is a major problem, students. And that is why to bring out, that equalness and giving them opportunities which they were denied of for so many years, we have reservations for them. All right. So this Prevention of Atrocities Act was passed to establish a society in which social justice, what we are discussing right now, social justice and equality prevails and is free from any kind of prejudice. Prejudice means having, extreme negative attitude towards something. So, because the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe are people belonging to the lower caste, you all are very well aware of the caste system which is prevalent in the Hindu society, right? So, these people belong to the lower section, okay, lower caste. And that is why they were also treated as untouchables. So, where is equality then, right? So, to have equality, there came in the Prevention of Atrocities Act. Okay. So, this act prevents any injustice done to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Okay. So, anyone is found committing any act of atrocity, there will be a strict punishment given to them. Okay. So, that's what this act says. Okay. Untouchability also, students, is a crime in India. All right. So, we are not supposed to practice it. Let's proceed and see prevention for minorities. Okay. So again, even for minorities, there is, various policies which are made for education and in terms of employment also. There has to be no discrimination. Again, the constitution says that no discrimination should be done on the basis of caste, race, religion, language, or even region. All right. But for the protection of the rights of minorities, the constitution has they have taken up a lot of measures like equality, freedom, right against exploitation, against culture, as well as in educational rights. So even minorities do get, a platform where there is equality and social justice. It's not that who is in majority will, will get all the privileges of the society. No, even the minorities will get it according to our constitution. All right, this is something very important, students, that we have to keep in mind. Whatever we are discussing in this chapter is purely based on the Constitution of India. All right, let's proceed now. Then we also have laws for women. So like I said, even women have certain reservations. So there are various policies which have been adopted after independence era to empower women. All right. So here we can see that there is a right to have equal share in property of father and husband. So previously, it didn't used to happen like this. Okay, so women were actually denied the share in property, but according to our constitution, they have an equal right in property, okay, of their father as well as their husband. All right. Then Dowry Prohibition Act, we already know there are so many crime against women because of dowry as well. Okay, so dowry again is a crime in India. If you are taking dowry, if you are giving dowry, it is not allowed. Okay, so that's what the Dowry Prohibition Act is. And then Act Against Sexual Harassment. Every day, on a day-to-day basis, also women face a lot of sexual harassment, right? So we have Act against that also. People can go and file a complaint against it. All right. And then, of course, Domestic Violence Prohibition Act, because women have been suffering because of domestic violence for a long period of time now. And we have laws, we have these acts which are to benefit the women. Okay, so if they are facing any problem, if there is domestic violence happening against them, they can actually go and file a complaint against it. All right, so that's about the laws for women. Let's proceed with the chapter and talk about the representation of women. So here, as you can see, the 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment, which means the changes that we are bringing about, okay? It reserved 33% seats for women in local self-governing bodies, all right? So this reservation has increased to 50% in Maharashtra and many other states. But what did the 73rd and 74th amendment do? It gave 33% seats for women in local self-governing bodies. All right. And this reservation increased in Maharashtra and other states by 50%. Okay. So here, for mitigating justice meted out to women, there is a National Commission of Women which has also been established. Okay. And not just National Commission, but there are state commissions also which are set up on the state level. Then, like we already discussed, there is Domestic Violence Prohibition Act, which actually talks about the self-esteem of women. Why should women face this violence? All right, and to curb this, to overcome this, we have this Prohibition Act. All right, then it also rejected any form of dominance and authoritarianism. Okay, so here what happens, students, generally in domestic violence, the family members or the husband, the male members, they actually create violence against women. Okay, they hit them, they abuse them, right? But it is wrong. According to our constitution, also it is wrong, and morally also it is wrong. All right, so that is why it rejects any kind of dominance or being authoritative. Okay, so inhuman practices were banned by law and traditional dominance was refuted, which gives the momentum to the women liberation movement. Okay, so here if you see, people rejected the normal, traditional dominating behavior. It's about the male patriarchal society of India. All right, so now women are refusing it. Okay, because according to our constitution also it is not allowed. That's what it says here, that inhuman practices were banned by the law. All right, so that's about the representation of women in our constitution also. All right, let's proceed and talk about judiciary. Now, what is it that the law does for us? All right, the judicial system. So the basic framework of the constitution is according to the judiciary. So basically the power has been entrusted to the parliament, to make changes in the constitution as per the changing conditions. So this means we cannot be restricted to just one thing, that okay, this is there in the constitution, we'll stick to this. But if there are changes which are required, that is what we call amendments, right? So if according to the situation changes are required, then we are supposed to do it. Okay. So it is basically the right of the parliament that they can make changes in the constitution, and they cannot just randomly get up and make a change. No, a bill has to be made which is passed in the Lok Sabha either or Rajya Sabha. Both the houses have to agree with the changes, then it goes to the president, then a sign and seal, then becomes an act. Okay. So changes are to be discussed also in the parliament in this manner. Okay. So as per the needs, several amendments are done in the constitution, and this has made our constitution very dynamic, and it is not a rigid one. Okay, rigid means then we cannot change it, right? But it's not rigid, it is dynamic, which means we can change it. It is changing in nature, okay? According to the needs of the current situation, we do it. All right. Let's talk about the second point here of judiciary. So here we're talking about how judiciary has played an important role in strengthening democracy, correct? Because with the help of judiciary, we can achieve the objectives of social justice and equality in India, okay? So obviously, judiciary is given the power to interpret the constitution, which means the lawyers, the judges who are there, they are a part of our judiciary. So they interpret the constitution for us, correct? So here the judiciary has specified the limitations of the parliament in amending the constitution, which means the judiciary has told the parliament that you cannot change everything, which means if you have the fundamental rights, it cannot be taken down from anyone. Okay, let's say the entire constitution is based on social justice and equality, so the parliament cannot make a change in that. Okay, they cannot say that okay, now we do not want equality in India. That's not how it works. Okay, so changes are for the betterment. All right. Then parliament has no power to alter the basic structure. This is exactly what I told you right now. So whatever is the basic structure of the constitution will not be changed by the parliament. Okay. So this means that the constitution says, it proclaims India to be a sovereign, democratic, secular republic. So these words will not change from the constitution. They will not change anything from this. So India will remain sovereign, democratic, secular republic. All right. Let's proceed ahead and talk about the significant decisions of the judiciary. So they take decisions regarding the rights of children, they protect the human rights, they protect the honor and dignity of women, okay? Individual freedom is protected, and tribal empowerment, okay, of the lower classes, lower sections, right? So all these things basically the judiciary gives out proper judgments for them, okay? So that's all, students, in chapter number 1. This was a quick summary of what the chapter is all about, and I hope you all have understood it. Thank you so much.